Tonight 3:17 a.m. You will not be the same person again. Something is about to happen to you that you cannot stop, cannot delay, and cannot escape, because this is not a random night. This is not just another quiet moment while the world sleeps. This is a targeted moment with your name on it, and right now you might be scrolling, doubting, overthinking, or even feeling like nothing in your life is moving forward. But what you don't understand is that everything has been building up to this exact second. Every delay, every rejection, every time you felt ignored or replaced or forgotten, it was never the end of your story. It was the setup. It was the pressure before the release. And tonight at exactly 3:17 a.m. something will shift so deeply inside you that even you won't recognize yourself anymore. Because there are moments in life where things don't gradually change, they suddenly break open, they suddenly realign, they suddenly move without warning. And this is one of those moments. This is the moment where what was blocking you loses its power, where what was holding you back can no longer stay, where what was hidden from you starts revealing itself piece by piece in a way that feels almost unreal. And you might think this is just motivation, you might think this is just another message, but something inside you already knows this is different. Something inside you is reacting. Something inside you is telling you to listen carefully, because this is not for everyone. This is for you. This is for the one who kept going when nobody clapped. This is for the one who stayed strong when everything around them was falling apart. This is for the one who cried silently but never gave up completely. And right now you are closer than you have ever been, closer than the moment you almost quit, closer than the moment you felt completely lost, because those moments didn't break you, they positioned you, they aligned you, they prepared you for something that cannot be stopped anymore. And at 3:17 a.m. there will be a shift, not a small one, not something temporary, but something that starts internally and then takes over everything around you. A sudden clarity, a sudden realization, a sudden feeling that something has changed and you cannot go back to the old version of yourself even if you tried. And that's the moment everything begins to move. Because once your mind shifts, once your energy shifts, once your belief shifts, your reality has no choice but to follow. And that's why this had to happen in silence. That's why this moment is coming when nobody is watching. Because not everything powerful needs an audience. Some of the biggest transformations happen when it's just you and the unseen forces working behind your life. And right now there are things aligning for you that you cannot see yet. Doors opening that you don't even know exist yet. People being moved out of your path. Opportunities being positioned closer to you. And all of it is leading to a moment where things start happening faster than you expect, faster than you're used to, and it might even feel overwhelming at first because you've been in a season of waiting for so long that sudden movement feels unfamiliar. But this is what you've been prepared for. This is what all the confusion was building toward. And when it happens you will finally understand why certain people had to leave, why certain plans didn't work out, why certain doors stayed closed no matter how hard you tried. Because if those things had worked, you would have settled for less than what is actually meant for you. And what is meant for you is not small, it is not temporary, it is not something that fades away, it is something that shifts your direction completely, something that elevates you in a way that others will notice but never fully understand. And the people who doubted you will not recognize the version of you that emerges after this moment. They will see the change but they won't know the process. They will see the result but they won't know the nights you survived, the battles you fought, the strength it took to keep going when everything told you to stop, but you didn't stop, and that's why this moment belongs to you, that's why this shift is happening for you. Because you endured what most people would have walked away from, you stayed when it was easier to quit, you believed even when there was no proof. And now you are stepping into a moment that will prove everything you went through had a purpose, everything you lost had a reason, everything that didn't work was actually protecting you from something smaller, and at 3:17 a.m. when that shift happens you will feel it, maybe not in a loud dramatic way, maybe not in a way that instantly changes everything overnight, but in a deep undeniable way that tells you something has begun, something has unlocked, something has finally moved in your favor. And from that moment forward things will not be the same, your thinking will change. Your reactions will change, your expectations will rise, and the things that once drained you will no longer have access to you, because you are stepping into a version of yourself that is aligned, focused, and protected in a way you have never experienced before, and once that alignment happens, everything else starts falling into place without force, without struggle, without chasing. Because what is meant for you will start coming toward you as naturally as it was once running away from you. And that is the shift, that is the moment, that is what is about to happen tonight at 3:17 a.m. Tonight 3:17 a.m. This is where it gets serious. Because what's about to happen next is not just a shift, it's a separation, a clear line being drawn between who you used to be and who you are becoming, and the truth is not everyone is going to come with you, not everyone is meant to understand you, and not everyone will survive this next version of your life, because when real transformation begins it doesn't ask for permission, it doesn't warn people. It simply removes what no longer belongs, and right now you may still be holding on to certain people, certain habits, certain thoughts that feel familiar, that feel comfortable, but at 3:17 a.m. something inside you is going to break that attachment, something is going to make it clear that you cannot stay the same and still step into what is waiting for you, and this is the part most people don't talk about. This is the part where it feels uncomfortable, where it feels lonely, where it feels like you're losing more than you're gaining, but what you don't see is that everything leaving your life right now is making space for something greater that cannot enter while you're still holding on to the old, and this is why the timing is so precise, this is why it's happening in silence, because this is not about showing the world, this is about preparing you, this is about strengthening you in a way that no external validation can replace.
And when this shift hits you, you will start seeing things differently. Conversations that once made sense will feel empty, people who once felt important will feel distant, places that once felt normal will feel uncomfortable, and it won't be because something is wrong, it will be because you are changing faster than your environment, and not everyone can match that pace, not everyone can rise with you, and that's okay, because this journey was never meant to be crowded, it was meant to be specific, it was meant to be intentional, and at 3:17 a.m. there is going to be a realization that hits you so deeply that you can no longer ignore it, a truth that you have been avoiding, a decision that you have been delaying, a direction that you have been hesitant to take, and in that moment you will understand that staying where you are is no longer an option, that settling is no longer acceptable, that shrinking yourself to fit into places you've outgrown is no longer possible, because once awareness hits, once clarity arrives, you cannot go back to confusion, you cannot pretend you don't see what you now clearly understand, and that is where everything begins to accelerate, because the moment you accept that truth, the moment you release what is holding you back, things start moving at a speed that feels almost unreal, opportunities begin to show up in unexpected ways, connections begin to form without force, Ideas begin to flow without struggle, and it will feel like everything is finally working in your favor after a long period of nothing making sense, and this is the reward for your patience. This is the result of everything you endured in silence. This is what happens when you don't give up even when you have every reason to, and the people around you will notice the change. They will see something different in your energy, in your presence, in the way you carry yourself, but they won't be able to explain it, because this kind of transformation is not something you can fake. It's not something you can copy. It's something that is built through real experiences, real struggles, real growth, and you have gone through all of that whether you realize it or not, and now you are stepping into a phase where things are no longer being taken from you, they are being given to you, but only because you are finally ready to receive them. And readiness doesn't mean perfection, it means alignment. It means understanding your worth. It means no longer chasing what is not meant for you. And at 3:17 a.m. that alignment begins, not in a loud dramatic way, but in a quiet undeniable shift that changes the way you think, the way you feel, the way you move. And once that internal shift is locked in, everything external begins to follow, and that is when your life starts to transform in ways that others will call luck, but you will know it was never luck. It was preparation meeting timing. It was endurance meeting opportunity. It was faith meeting reality, and from that moment forward there is no going back to the old version of you, no returning to the mindset that kept you stuck, no settling for less than what you know you deserve, because you are stepping into a version of yourself that refuses to go backwards, that refuses to stay small, that refuses to ignore what they are capable of. And that is why tonight matters. That is why this moment is different, because this is not just another night. This is the beginning of a version of you that will change everything. Tonight 3:17 a.m. something you never expected will be revealed. And this is the part no one prepares you for, because up until now you thought the delay was the hardest part, you thought the waiting was the struggle, you thought the silence was the pain, but what's coming next is deeper than that. It's the moment where the truth starts surfacing, the moment where everything hidden begins to expose itself without warning, without filters, without giving you time to emotionally prepare. Because when real transformation happens, it doesn't just upgrade your life. It exposes everything that was fake, everything that was forced, everything that was never truly aligned with you. And at 3:17 a.m. you are going to feel something shift in a way that makes you question everything you once believed, not in a confusing way, but in a clarifying way, in a way that suddenly connects dots you couldn't connect before, in a way that suddenly makes certain people make sense, certain situations make sense, certain endings make sense, and the truth is some of those realizations are not going to feel comfortable, because you will start seeing people for who they really are, not who you hoped they were, not who they pretended to be, but who they actually showed themselves to be through their actions, through their absence, through their inconsistency. And that clarity is going to hit you hard, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you understand it, you cannot go back to pretending everything is okay. And this is where the real separation begins, not just externally but internally, because your mindset is no longer going to tolerate what it once accepted, your energy is no longer going to entertain what once drained you, your standards are going to rise without you even trying. And this is not arrogance, this is alignment. This is what happens when you finally recognize your value without needing someone else to confirm it. And at 3:17 a.m. that recognition begins to lock in, and once it does, everything around you starts reacting differently. People who were comfortable with the old version of you will start feeling uncomfortable around the new version of you, situations that once felt normal will start feeling out of place, and opportunities that once felt out of reach will start coming closer, because you are no longer operating from the same level, you are no longer thinking the same way, and when your internal world upgrades, your external world has no choice but to adjust, and this is where things start getting intense, because not everyone will understand your change, not everyone will support your growth, and some people will even try to pull you back into the version of you that they were comfortable with, but this time it won't work. This time something inside you will refuse to shrink, refuse to settle, refuse to go back to what once felt familiar but no longer feels right, and that resistance is your confirmation that you are moving forward, that you are evolving, that you are stepping into something greater than what you've known before, and as this continues to unfold you will start noticing patterns breaking, cycles
ending, things that used to repeat in your life suddenly losing their hold on you, because you are no longer the same person who attracted those patterns, you are no longer the same person who tolerated those cycles, and once that shift happens, repetition stops, stagnation ends, and movement begins, real movement, fast movement, undeniable movement. And it might feel overwhelming at first because things will start changing quicker than you expected, quicker than you planned for, but that's because this is not just growth, this is acceleration, this is everything that was delayed finally catching up all at once, and at 3:17 a.m. you are stepping into that acceleration whether you fully realize it or not, because this moment is not about asking if you're ready, it's about proving that you already are, and everything you went through was not random, it was training, it was preparation. It was building you into someone who could handle this level of clarity, this level of truth, this level of transformation, and now that you're here, now that you've reached this point, there is no going back, no returning to confusion, no returning to the same mindset that kept you stuck, because once truth enters your life at this level, it changes everything permanently. And the person you are becoming after tonight will not recognize the version of you that once doubted everything, that once questioned their worth, that once stayed in places they had already outgrown, because that version of you was necessary for the process, but it is no longer needed for where you are going next, and where you are going next is something bigger than you imagined, something clearer than you expected, something that aligns with you in a way that feels natural instead of forced, and as this unfolds you will start to feel a sense of certainty that you haven't felt before, a quiet confidence that doesn't need validation, a clarity that doesn't need explanation, and that is how you will know the shift has truly happened, not because everything around you changed instantly, but because you did, because your perspective did, because your standards did, and once that internal transformation is complete, everything external begins to fall into place without struggle, without chasing, without forcing anything, because what is meant for you will now recognize you as clearly as you recognize it. And that is the moment everything changes for good. Tonight 3:17 a.m. This is the final shift. The moment where everything that was building, everything that was breaking, everything that was revealing itself finally comes together in a way that cannot be reversed, because this is no longer just about change, this is about confirmation, this is about the moment you stop questioning and start knowing, the moment you stop doubting and start moving, the moment where hesitation disappears and clarity takes full control. And what's powerful about this phase is that it doesn't come with noise. It doesn't come with announcements, it comes with a quiet certainty that settles deep inside you and refuses to leave, and once that certainty locks in, everything about you starts operating differently without you even trying. Your decisions become sharper, your focus becomes stronger, your energy becomes more controlled, and the things that once distracted you, once confused you, once made you feel stuck suddenly lose their influence over you completely, because you are no longer reacting to life, you are now aligned with it, and that alignment changes everything. It changes how you see opportunities, it changes how you respond to challenges, it changes how you handle people, and most importantly, it changes how you see yourself, because for the first time you are no longer looking at yourself through doubt or fear or past experiences, you are seeing yourself through clarity, through awareness, through truth. And that shift is what unlocks everything that has been waiting for you, because once you truly understand who you are and what you deserve, you stop accepting anything that doesn't match that level, you stop chasing things that don't align, you stop forcing connections that were never meant to last, and instead you start attracting what is already meant for you without effort, without struggle, without confusion. And this is where your life begins to feel different in a way you cannot fully explain to others. Because from the outside it might look like things are just working out, but from the inside you know it's deeper than that, you know it's the result of everything you endured, everything you learned, everything you survived, and at 3:17 a.m. this final shift locks everything into place. Not in a way that instantly makes life perfect, but in a way that makes your path clear, your direction certain, your purpose undeniable, and from that moment forward there is no more second guessing, no more overthinking every move, no more waiting for the right time, because you realize the time is now, the moment is now, the opportunity is now, and the only thing left for you to do is move, act, step forward without fear, because fear no longer has control over you, doubt no longer has a voice loud enough to stop you, and hesitation no longer has the power to delay you, and that is the real breakthrough, not just external success, not just visible change, but internal control, internal clarity. Internal power that cannot be shaken by circumstances, people, or situations, and once you reach this level everything else becomes a result, everything else becomes a reflection of the work that has already been done inside you, and this is why the journey had to be the way it was, this is why the delays were necessary, this is why the pain was unavoidable. Because without it you would not be able to handle this level of awareness, this level of growth, this level of transformation. And now that you are here, now that you have stepped into this final phase, everything begins to align faster than ever before, the right opportunities begin to appear at the right time, the right people begin to enter your life without force, the right decisions begin to feel obvious instead of confusing, and everything that once felt complicated starts to feel simple, because clarity removes complexity, alignment removes struggle, and certainty removes fear. And that is what this moment at 3:17 a.m. represents. It represents the end of confusion, the end of waiting. The end of being stuck in a cycle that never seemed to break, and the beginning of a new phase where things finally move, finally progress, finally make sense, and as this unfolds you will start to notice something else, something subtle but powerful. You will start to feel at peace even while things are still changing, you will start to feel calm even while things are still unfolding. Because you now trust the process in a way you never did before, you now understand that everything is happening for a reason even if you cannot see the full picture yet. And that trust allows you to move forward without fear, without resistance, without second guessing, and that is what separates this version of you from who you used to be, because before you needed proof, you needed signs, you needed confirmation from the outside, but now you move from within, now you act from certainty, now you trust yourself without needing validation, and that is the level where everything becomes possible, everything becomes accessible, everything becomes aligned with you in a way that feels natural instead of forced, and from this moment forward, your life is no longer something you are trying to figure out, it is something you are actively creating, shaping, directing with clarity and confidence, and that is the final shift, that is what makes this moment different from everything before it, because this is not just another phase, this is the beginning of the life you were being prepared for all along, and once it starts, once it fully locks in, there is no going back. No returning to confusion, no returning to doubt, no returning to the version of you that once felt lost, because that version is gone, replaced by someone stronger, clearer, and more powerful than ever before, and everything that happens after this will only confirm one thing. That this moment at 3:17 a.m. was where it all truly began.